G'day everyone, Editor Morgan here. Just a heads up before we get started, there was some construction happening next door for this one. I've tried to clean it up as best I can, but it does still get pretty loud towards the end.
Welcome to the Inside the Third Space podcast, where we talk about everything third space with real-life third spaces. Today we have Andrea from the business school, and without further ado, we'll ask Andrea to introduce herself and talk a bit about what she does at UNSW.
Thank you. So I'm an educational staff developer, and I work in the education portfolio that's with the business school. I'm part of the team that provides support and training for incoming tutors and staff.
So training of new staff, is that the main thing? And is that academic type stuff or like new to Moodle or
Yeah, I think all of the above.
Okay.
But it's incoming tutors that are going to be tutoring at the business school for the first time.
Okay.
We onboard them. We have sessions on feedback and assessment. They have modules that they go through to improve teaching delivery, understand classroom dynamic, learn about active learning, and all of that. Our cohort is usually half and half. Half have experience teaching somewhere else, and it's just their first time at UNSW. And then the other half are graduate students or people that have recently graduated that are going to have their first experience in leading a class.
Yeah.
And so that's a big chunk of what I do. The other is kind of reviving the peer support of teaching at the business school. So we're piloting a version of it in one of the IFY courses, the integrated first year courses. So in the business school, all incoming students have to experience for the first year the integrated first year IFY. And they have a selection of courses that they can choose from. So in one of those courses with incoming and experienced students, and we also have a lot of tutors, it's a huge cohort, we're piloting one version of the peer support of teaching. It's called MATE, because I thought, how Australian?
Yes.
But it's, Mentor is advocating for teaching excellence. So it's a mentorship program so that professional staff kind of relies on people that have been teaching the course and foment the sense of belonging and community by letting them help themselves. Yeah. And we note good teaching practice, good marking practice, and then the idea is that by the end of the 3 phases, we'll have a guide on how to be successful in that course.
Yeah.
And then it becomes something by them, for them. So that's the idea.
Yeah, I guess those two roles kind of feed into each other. Where you have the mentorship, you can understand what's the best parts of people that do that role. You can add that into the training that you provide as well. I guess that helps that space. And it's interesting you say that you were an academic as well. So that's kind of interesting, especially from a third space point. I mean, I guess the first thing I like to ask is, when did you hear about the third space? When did you identify about the third space?
The first time I heard the expression and really listened to it was actually at EduFest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I knew, this is my first fully professional staff role that I've had. Mm-hmm. In the U.S., I'm sure in England it's different too. In the U.S., the third space doesn't exist like it does here. Like you don't have this sort of support, which I think it's amazing. Mm-hmm. But in the past, yes, I was fully an academic, and transitioning into this role, it was like, oh, okay, so it's still, so everyone here, it's professional staff, but most of the people I work with, they teach. Mm-hmm. Either they taught in the past or they still teach somewhere else. They teach here in courses. Stuff? Yeah. Okay. Or, time permitting.
Yeah.
But they've had teaching experience, classroom experience. So, it comes from that as well, from having been in the classroom, from having designed courses. So it also transformed the way I looked at professional staff.
Okay.
But it was at EduFest. It was sitting and listening to the panelists about how they kind of ended up here, because it's pretty new space.
I mean,
higher ed.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that seems to be around forever. But it's only until you find out, oh yeah, I identify with that, or I understand that more, and then you can say, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I know. And I'm a Latin American historian by training. So my PhD is actually in Brazilian race and identity, post-colonial Latin America. So the first time I actually heard the term third space was Homi Baba.
Yeah.
So, like I heard it and I was like, oh, well, colonizers, what? How is that suitable to professional stuff? But then he was actually sitting at EduFest and I was like, oh, so it was, thank you for being part of that of that session, because it was very revealing. And I was with colleagues that were in the education portfolio as well, and they had questions, they were interacting. So for them, it was also great to understand the space.
That's exactly what we kind of wanted from those kind of sessions and this podcast as well, to create that awareness and to build that community to a certain point. I guess you talk about value as well, which is kind of interesting, that you value the fact that professional staff have that experience of teaching, and that's different to the US, because I think that's the trouble with a lot of third space professionals, that value isn't always seen. Mm-hmm. Do you have any comment on that, on how you felt about that?
I think I would kind of equate it to respect. Mm-hmm. And the same for students. Like a good classroom is built on trust. Mm-hmm. And for that trust to be there, you have to have mutual respect and mutual caring among students. So you respect yourself enough to do the work, and then you respect other people's time. Mm-hmm. The instructor that's there teaching, and also everyone else in the room that prepped, if you are not pulling your own weight. Yeah. So it's about that. And I think the third space and academics is a bit about that as well. It's understanding, which I think a lot of academics don't quite grasp, and maybe I could be wrong, but like it's this ethereal, this unit over there that does magic to course outlines, and they come and rescue when there's marking inaccuracy, so it's kind of like a resource that you access in times of trouble a bit. And it's not that. Once you're inside, mm-hmm. it's actually this like live body culture of like innovation and new approaches, and everyone is working all the time in making academics' lives better and students' lives better. So it's for both. Yeah. It's not just geared towards students and not just to put out fires. So I think if there was more understanding of what the role encompasses, academics would, I think, have a different relationship with it. Mm-hmm. And I also understand having been an academic, that time is very precious for academics. I understand, not that I'm an academic whisperer by any means, but,
But having that insight of being from that tribe, it kind of helps you in that kind of translating and showing value.
Yeah.
And I think what you talk about is a lot of the issues that third spaces have, in the fact that, like, if you always come to that section when something's wrong, then you associate that with wrongness or the problem, or the biggest issue, I guess, is those two things of visibility and understanding. And you mentioned understanding is a lot of people that need our help don't know what we do or know where we are. And like you said, it's this kind of magic area that I go to for questions, but I don't really know what happens there or who works there. And that's, I feel like, a big issue for a lot of people in the first place.
I think for a lot of them it's embarrassing to need help. And they were never trained. Mm-hmm. So you get a PhD, you do a lot of courses, depending on what university you attended. Some universities don't even do courses. You just work on your project, and then you get a PhD, and then you have a job, and now you have to teach all of these students, and you're never equipped. Yeah. I was trained in languages and cultural studies, so I got that. But in the history department, I got nothing. Mm. So all my training in the classroom came from my master's, not the PhD itself. Yeah. So you don't, like you're thrown to the wolves, and you're like, how do I survive?
That on-the-job training of like, get into that and teach some students now,
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's, you learn by trial and error. So you make a lot of mistakes. Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, this kind of works, so I'll stick with this. And then, when somebody else telling you, well, now we don't do it this way, we do it this other way, it's anxiety inducing. Yeah. If you figure out how to survive with little training and just with experience, and then suddenly, there's a person with a lot of training in the area that you lack.
Yeah.
But you're the academic, so it can be tricky.
Yeah. And it goes back to like you were saying before, that trust, building that trust
Yes.
with someone and building those relationships, which sometimes can be hard. And with any good relationships, you need to work on that as well.
Yeah,
from both sides.
We're all time poor, but I think if you can sit down, like we're sitting down now, and look the person in the eye, it goes such a long way.
Yeah.
So in the past 9 months, I've been having coffee and lunch with academics. A lot of them EFs and early career academics for the peer supportive teaching bit, because I didn't want to create or revamp a program or do something from what I thought they needed or from what I understood. I needed to talk to them and, like going out for coffee, and you sit and you have that interaction, look them in the eye, and then it's like, I'm trying to do something that would work for you.
Yeah.
So...
And I guess that's kind of the question I was coming to. How do you build that visibility and understanding, especially being from a central unit? You also have that division as well. So regular catch-ups is something that you've done. Is there any other strategies you've used to build that visibility and understanding?
I think since we run the tutor training and we have a veteran teaching panel and we invite academics to speak to incoming tutors, and so a lot of the training also provides these avenues of contact where we actually need your expertise to share it with the tutor, and for them it's like amazing because again a lot of them weren't trained. Or if you go to Teaching Commons is amazing. Whoever came up with the Teaching Commons should get all the awards, because I started here and I just went to the Teaching Commons every week. All the professional development. And for me, it was like, yes, I'm learning, but it was also an opportunity to network with academics. So I'm sitting there meeting academics from all other schools, and trying to get to know what it's like for them here, so that I could make informed decisions. So, I need to know about the culture. So if I want to know about the university-wide culture, I need to go to people in other departments. So, how do I do that? I enroll in CDI. So, Course Design Institute, amazing training, 1 week intensive. You're there all day long, and you get to really know, like in the lunch break, in the breaks between sessions, and chatting. And it's not like an official meeting, but then you get to know what makes academics tick, what do they need, what are they struggling with, and you just listen. I think sitting with them and listening, that's how you build trust, because you care enough to listen. You respect their time. You're here, I'll come up with something, maybe I can connect you to someone. Maybe I can point you to a resource that could be useful. Because this university is amazing in innovation and resources. They're just kind of scattered. Yeah. So sometimes it's just like pointing them in the right direction.
Yeah, and like you said, building that trust. So you might not have the answers, like you said, but as long as you point them in the right or a direction, or you try and help in that, it does build that trust as well. What would you say to yourself if you were just starting now? Maybe someone else that's starting in the third space. What would you say to them? What advice would you give them? To be a sponge, be like a 3-year-old, 4-year-old child, and just absorb everything. I have an amazing manager. For the first time in my life that I had a manager ask, what kind of manager do you need me to be for you to be productive in this world? And I was like, This exists? Yeah. I don't know. So I think if you are allowed this space, and hopefully you are, take it in, soak it up. I lived in the U.S. for over 20 years. I'm originally from Brazil. All my adult life, I lived in the U.S. I was an academic there, did my PhD, all that stuff there. And there it's like very individualistic, very work-oriented, very results-oriented. So it's just like go, accomplish tasks nonstop, and reply to emails at midnight, work on weekends. It's like intense. And then I moved here and it's like, work-life balance. And, so I started this run. I was like, I need to take a step back and chill. Chill a little bit, you go slowly, and then I was afforded the time. I was like, take an hour today or two and just walk around campus. You're going to have to do classroom observations. You're going to have to know where the buildings are. Yeah. Just walk through the buildings.
hear what the students are saying, see what, how academics are, and just to get a sense of the space. And I was like, and I'm being paid to walk around
take
and get familiar.
Take that step back and
Oh, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then, there's all this teaching commons again. Yay. All this amazing professional development things going on. Yeah, you go to them. And then you get to know the academics and you get to know the professional staff in other schools that are running it. And you'll be familiar with them. We'll know about their initiatives. Avoid silos. Silos also a very Australian terminology that I had never heard before. maybe in England too. But in the US, there are no silos. It's just like normal.
Right.
But here it's like, okay, so we combat that by building bridges, and I'm all about building bridges. So I think the recommendation would be take it slow. It looks like, okay, I'll do these onboarding modules, and then there are this gazillion acronyms that I need to decode. So I started a list, and then there were other lists. So I compiled all the lists, and there's a student-facing list. Add that too. And, that's like researching the university, researching the place that you're going to work at, familiarizing yourself with the culture so you can be your most productive self. And then you can really fulfill your sense of purpose there, So I think just take a step back and absorb everything around you. So then you're strategic about the decisions that you make.
Very good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrea, for coming in. And we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to Inside the Third Space. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the third space.
This episode of Inside the Third Space was presented by Neil Lawrence and edited by me, Morgan Harris. Our guest was Andréa Ferreira.